So I recently asked my Instagram audience, how are you guys doing? And a lot of people answered, I'm feeling lost. So I wanted to address that in this YouTube video. Hopefully some of you guys are watching my YouTube. Some of you that follow me on Instagram, that support me, are also here on YouTube. And I'm guessing that you are, even if you don't comment. I know that I have a lot of silent supporters, and I appreciate every single one of you so much. You know, I'm halfway across the world. You guys are from everywhere, all over the place. But there are a lot of common struggles that we face. This feeling of being lost, especially as a young man. In 2025, with AI taking over everything, with the politics being all over the place, jobs disappearing, really, changing the landscape of things, making education itself seem just outdated now. If you think about it, the world is changing just so rapidly. And to be a young man now is just so much more difficult. There's so much uncertainty. There's no sense of stability. There's no clear path forwards for anyone, especially young adults of our generation. So for people to say, you know, on my Instagram responses, I feel lost, and they're from all over the place. You guys are from, you know, I got guys from Europe, Portugal, Greece. You got South Americans, Brazil, people from Mexico, people from the States, California, New York. All of you guys have said a similar thing, and you guys are from everywhere. I feel lost. And I relate to that. And I'm lucky now that I'm at least in my later 20s. I'm 30. I'm 30. I'm unk status now. But if I were in my early 20s at this point, I would feel just as lost, if not more lost. And I've gone through that even in the past, even when things weren't as chaotic as they are today. So just know that you're not alone in what you're feeling. Things change so rapidly, and there's always something happening, something negative happening in the world, something changing our lives drastically, the way we think, the way we live our lives. It's constantly changing. And now I just expect randomness. I expect the unexpected now at this point. And feeling lost is definitely a normal feeling. And it's definitely something everyone is feeling at this point. So I want you to know you're not alone. You're definitely not alone. The most common thing that every young adult right now is probably feeling is lost. How could you not feel lost? You'd have to be delusional to not feel lost with how rapidly the world changes these days. You could study for a degree. You could get a degree, spend 4 years of your life studying, working hard, and then that job just doesn't exist anymore by the time you graduate. Or that industry has mass layoffs, like people in tech. Or, the job might get completely replaced by AI. And even if you do something else, who knows? Who knows if that industry is going to be around? Or, tariffs, politics changes the landscape of things. So even if you do get into an industry that seems like it has promise, it's just, the thing is, everything seems out of our control these days. Everything. Nothing seems like it's within our control. And that's why everyone feels so lost. There are so few things that feel like they're within our control these days. Besides our perception of things, besides our attitude on things. That's the only thing we can control. In the past, there was a sense of security. There was a sense of stability. There was a sense of some type of clear path forward to a future, to a life that we would want. Get a stable job. There's no such thing anymore. What is a stable job? Is there really such thing as a stable job? We've seen in the last couple of years that there's no such thing. Unemployment is going up. And even if you do have a stable job, you're barely getting by. The majority of people are barely getting by. Even if you're one of the lucky ones to have employment, you're just making enough to get by, and that's it. And it's only getting harder at a rate that you can't outwork. At a rate where you have to get extremely lucky or be already wealthy or have tremendous connections to get ahead in life. There's no clear path forward anymore. And being a young adult in today's day and age is harder than any of the previous generations could possibly comprehend. And I'm sure even those people are worried about their jobs now at this point. Even people that have been working for 20, 30 years, because ageism is real. It's a thing that affects them as well. So no matter who you are at this point, no matter where you're at in life, what position you're in, it's becoming difficult to feel a sense of security, to feel a sense of direction, to feel like what you're doing is the right thing. So of course you feel lost. Everyone does. How could you not? And I think that's also why, I know this is crazy to say, but that's also why the gym is so important. Because among all this chaos, all the hectic crap that happens in the world, what's one thing that never changes, that always remains reliable, that's simple, that shows you a sense of real progression? It's the gym. And I think that's why so many young men and women are into fitness now, and health and fitness, because there's like nothing else in life that just gives us that same sense of progression, that same, you get what you work for. You work hard, you get the results. And that just continues happening as long as you go to the gym and, continue focusing on improving. But you can't really say that about a lot of things in life anymore. Okay, that was the physique update. I'm around 150 pounds now, fluctuating between 150, 151 at 5'7", and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm still at that weight. I think 150 is basically what my set point is, as in this is the most comfortable place that my body wants to be. All right, going above it requires a little bit more effort. Going below it requires a little bit more effort. So this is the point where I can either choose to stay and look okay and feel decent, look decent. My face is getting a little bit leaner. That's the best part. This is when my face starts to get leaner and leaner. As soon as I lose another 2 pounds, that's when I see a tremendous difference. But that 2 pounds that I'm going to lose is probably going to be harder to lose than the initial 10 pounds. And it sounds crazy, but it's because My set point is 150. It's where my body is comfortable. It's where I feel hormonally the best. It's where I still don't feel crazy hunger cravings, no major food cravings. I can still, enjoy whatever. I can eat out. I can indulge a little bit. I don't have to do a ridiculous amount of cardio. This is the point of no return if I go deeper and deeper into the cut, where things get freaky, where more and more veins start to show, where my glizzy stops working, where I start feeling feelings of anxiety and depression and food-focused hunger cravings and all sorts of craziness. And this is the point. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get leaner because I love this shit. I just do it for the love of the game. I do it for the love of the game. I'm in my youth. You're in your prime. You're in your prime. You're the youngest you'll ever be today. You're the best you'll ever feel. This is the healthiest you'll ever be, potentially. From here, it only goes slightly downhill, to be honest. Sadly, as a man, at some point, your testosterone levels are going to start going down a little bit. And that's when it's too late. That's when you reach true unk status. When the hairline starts to recede a little bit and you start to look like you have a lot of thoughts and like you might have kids. That's when you reach unk status and there's no more for you. Your potential is only, it's like an uphill battle from that point on. So you might as well seize the day and make the most of your youth, of your prime, of your healthiest, of your strongest point. All right? And push your body to its limits with testosterone and trenbolone. No, just kidding. Do it naturally. Do it naturally, because then you're gonna get to that unk status a lot sooner if you take a substance. I could take a substance and 1 year from now, you're gonna be like, Jimothy, why do you look like you've aged 3 decades in the last year? And you'll know if I hop on, guys. I won't hide it from you, first of all. Second of all, I won't be able to hide it from you because my hairline will be further back than there will be no hairline. I'll be bald. I'll be One Punch Man, but Asian version. I'll be one. What is the Asian version of One Punch Man? Is One Punch Man even Asian? Okay, I'm taking you home with me, guys. We're driving home from the gym right now. Had a pretty good workout, I would say. I would give the workout a solid 8 out of 10. The social media community that I have around me, posting on Instagram, although it seems initially on the surface kind of superficial, I would admit. The reason why it's so priceless to me, why it's so important to me, is because it's the one thing that feels like it's within my control. Building this community, helping people, making them laugh is the one thing that I feel like among everything else is within my control. And the only other thing other than that is the gym. What you put in is what you get out. And that is priceless. In a world where everything's changing constantly, everything's inconsistent, everything's just turbulent. That's why I love making content so much. And that's why I appreciate all of you so much. And so, yeah, I hope, at the very least, I hope I've made you laugh. I hope I can, give you a reminder every now and then to stay positive. Because life moves very, very fast. I can tell you that. People that are in your life now and today, and the people around you might not be there in a few years. Life changes and a lot of things happen that you can't really control or predict. So it's so important, no matter what you're going through, to just maintain that positive mentality. Think about the things that you're grateful for, the things that you're grateful to have, the people around you that you're grateful to have, your health, a roof over your head, a warm bed to sleep in. It could be things like simple things like just having food. There are a lot of places in the world right now that, a lot of people that wish they could just walk. So many simple things that we take for granted every single little day. Those are the things that we should focus on. Because the reality is, everything else is so out of our control. It's more important now than ever to just be grateful. And that will get you past this. No matter what happens in the world. At this point, like I said, everything that happens isn't even a surprise anymore. I expect unexpected things now. I'm ready for the next unprecedented historical event that just makes life that much more difficult. I'm ready for inflation to get out of control. I'll get a chicken coop or something. I'll start planning, I don't know, I'll get a cow and milk it for protein. Free whey protein. I'll find a way to process it into protein powder and just make my own protein shakes at home with a cow in the backyard. And then hopefully I don't have to make them into ground beef. But, whatever happens in life, we'll get through this. Things could be even worse. And they are getting worse. And that's why everyone feels so lost. They just keep getting worse. Everything just keeps getting worse. But what we can still control is our mentality, our perspective on things, our attitude. As hard and as difficult as that is, I hope I help you, remind you, that things will get better. And I'm not just saying that, and I'm not just saying that to cope with what's happening in the world. Coping is very different, just being delusional is very different. Acknowledging that things are difficult now and even more challenging and getting more challenging than ever before for the majority of people is the least delusional and the most realistic thing that you could do. And so these are lessons that we can take away from these times. So when things get better in the future, at some point in the future, hopefully the world gets better, things stabilize again, and there's more hope for the future, for a stable life, a clear path forward for young adults, for people in our position, for our generation, where things feel so hopeless. When that time comes, you'll carry forward those lessons so that even the smallest things that might have seemingly been so challenging in the past, you'll know how to get through those things. They won't feel like anything in comparison to these times. The harder times are lessons. They're blessings in disguise. They're things that'll make you stronger, that'll teach you things, that'll give you better perspectives on life. And you will get through this just like you've gone through and gotten through everything else in the past. And we've gone through very hard things in life, our generation. So, take those lessons forward and you will get better and better at this. And by the time things get better, you will have an amazing mentality anyway. And you'll just be able to appreciate the good things in life even more when that time comes. I promise you that. 10 years from now, you'll look back to these days, and these will be the good old days, and you'll miss not feeling an ache in your shoulder. You'll miss being able to just go to the gym whenever you wanted because your schedule is more free. And 10 years from now, you might have more responsibilities that just prevent you from doing the things that you could do today. Just a couple of years ago was one of the hardest times mentally for most of the world. It was the most isolating time for most of the world back then. And we're slowly, very slowly recovering from that. And some people never will. And maybe we never all will recover from those days, from 2020. Maybe we never will fully recover. But things will get better eventually. Life will normalize at some point. And if not, the worst case scenario, things only get worse from here. The only thing we have control over is our own mentality, our own perspective, our own attitude, our own gratitude for the things that we do have. And that's the best we can do. That's the most we can make of it. So, might as well. And you just have to look for those things that are blessings in our lives right now. And they're there. You just have to look around. There are so many. I hope everyone has the strength to endure whatever you are going through. I hope you have the strength to endure it. And you will get stronger. All right, and I hope you find comfort in my channel, in the simplicity of just going to the gym, focusing on progressing in the gym, getting a good workout in, eating a good meal with your friends, eating a good meal on your own after a satisfying workout, hitting a PR. Those are the simplest things that you could look for in just being alive as a young adult with an able body and health and access to food. Okay? At the very least, we have that. We have our health. We have so many things that tons of people could only wish for. So remember that.